Has anyone here ever seen a full-grown man play guitar naked?
What is that?
Wait, what? Gotcha. Yeah, me neither. Education as a whole is very interesting. It's a topic we can all relate to because we're all born in some form of education of some sort. But if you're not into education, then you would not be here today listening to me talking to you all. You're welcome.
What do you do?
There's a lot of subjects in
Recording.
There's a lot of subjects in education, like arts, music, and dance. And in these areas, this is where our creative capacity thinking shines the most. We can use our talented gifts, such as in the arts, to create masterpieces like this. And then there are the other areas, such as mathematics, science, and history. And in these areas, this is where most adults would say that this is where the students should rely more instead of on the arts. Because they believe that in order to become a successful person, like you have to be a very successful businessman or become a possible professor at any university. To a lot of people, this sounds like a great idea, but if you really delve deep into what that actually means, it's not really a good thing. In fact, it can actually educate a creative person of their creative thinking. Thus the title, Creativity Decline Thanks to Education. Our subjects, should they be equal, higher, or lower? If you ask a professor about his opinion on which subject is more important, like, is math more important than music? Is history more important than art? Considering that art has a huge influence on history, he'll most likely tell you that mathematics is probably more important because to get to his position level where he's at, you have to know your stuff, know your history, and in fact know basically about everything about science and mathematics. So a lot of people get turned down when they're young. They get looked down upon by wanting to follow their creative dreams, but when they believe in this way of system, their creative thinking kind of goes a little off, and they tend to lose it. So this can actually be a bad thing, in a way. It's a little story I heard a while ago. It's about this little girl who was in kindergarten. Oh, kindergarten. The best 3 years of my life. She was drawing a picture in class, doing a homework assignment, and the teacher was getting fascinated by what she was drawing. So she went to the little girl and asked her, "Hey, what are you drawing?" And the little girl responded, "I'm drawing a picture of God." And she's like, "But nobody knows what God looks like." They will in a minute. What I'm trying to get to, the point of that story is, children are not afraid to be wrong. They're curious. They're up for the challenge. But in society, a lot of them are being taught that being wrong is bad. And that in order to get through life, you have to not accept being wrong and just stick with it. But here's the thing. If you're not prepared to be wrong, you won't come up with anything in life. And that's a true fact. Because in order to learn about wrong is to use that as a way to be more creative and original in what you're working on. I want to quote Pablo Picasso on this because he made a quote some odd years ago that I really do agree with. All children are born as artists. The problem is to remain as an artist as you grow older. And I truly do believe this because when I was younger, I was into drawing a lot. I draw a lot of things every day, stick people, and I use that in some way to help me concentrate on my homework assignments. But then there are the other students who does the same thing, but teachers view that like when they're working on their homework assignments with their doodling, teachers will look at that as a way like they're being distracted and not staying focused, so they'll make them quit doing it, and that destroys their way of actually focusing on the work, such as using doodling as a way to help you concentrate. There's a lot of talks recently about getting rid of things like recesses and creative thinking classes like arts and music and dance. Because they want you to spend more time focusing on how to be successful later in life. But in fact, recess and the creative thinking classes like art helps you develop a creative mind, and getting rid of it won't do you any good. And there's also been some talks about putting more children to classes that requires more computer work instead of artistic class so they can compete with the Asians. What a world. I'm gonna bring up the story about a woman named Julian Lynn. She's behind some of the most famous theater works in recent memory, like Phantom of the Opera and Cats. When she was a little girl back in the 1930s, one day in her class, one of her teachers thought she was being too distracted for no apparent reason, and today is considered ADHD. And so the teacher sent her and her mother to a specialist to see what was wrong with her, to see if she had a disorder. The doctor realized she didn't really have a disorder, so he did a little experiment. He left the girl alone in a room with music playing, and the doctor and the mother were watching from a see-through window. And what they saw for the next 10 minutes was this little girl was dancing to the music. So the specialist told the mother she doesn't have a disorder. She's a dancer. Sent her to a dancing school. So afterwards, she got to go to her school of choice at the Royal Ballet of England. And from there on, she became a successful choreography and, of course, developed plays such as Phantom of the Opera. And now she's a multi-millionaire. But somebody could have put her on medications and told her to calm down. And then, if that was the case, we would never see in her place. In conclusion, if John wants to be creative, if he wants to do all the possibilities in the world to fully experience the God-given gifts of the creative mind, it's all right. We should not educate our children out of their creativeness for our amusement, for what we want for them, for their future. In order for us to give our children a future, we have to allow them to use their creativity so that they can have a future that we may not see, but that they get to experience, so that they can enjoy life in the future with how they use their creative mind to create anything original, creative, and possibly do a lot better than what we're doing now in this generation, so that their generation will be more better. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm digging it.
All right. What are you doing here?
I gotta go fill out for student movie.
All right. Do you guys want to say anything to the millions of people watching on YouTube when this video gets uploaded in 5 hours?
Gang gangs in the building?
Yeah.